Hello guys, hope you're well. Today we are talking about how to improve comprehension skills. We are trying our best in our classes. We are learning different kind of comprehensions, the techniques, and all the kind of the various things. But different kids struggle with the different elements of comprehension and how to solve them. When they're practicing at home, if you can give them some helping hand, that would be awesome. That will help them as well. So I will go through all the sort of problems that we see and also the solution for you so that you can help them on those particular areas based on this advice. So let's dig into and understand the problem areas one by one. So one of the problem areas we see is the kids are reading too fast. Right? They are reading like a skim reading, like they're reading like it's a book. So book is it's usually very long. So they have quite a lot of elements within the book itself. So if they forget one element, it doesn't matter in the whole big book, right? So let's say somebody is holding a hammer. Now, that's one part of the whole book, but the book contains lots of elements. If they forget this one element, it doesn't matter the whole sense of or summary of the book. But when it comes to the comprehension text, which is a page or 2 page long, and this particular element is somebody's holding a hammer, comes in this, that matters then, because the whole book itself is just a 2 page. And the question can come is, at that particular instance, what that person was holding. That means if you skim read, in a book side, you can just get the gist and then carry on. But when you're reading about the comprehension and you are skimming reading or reading too fast, you will miss the key elements in there. So I suggest the solution to this is ask your child to read louder in front of you. When somebody reads louder, it's usually a little bit slower as compared to the reading in mind. That will also tell you how they are reading. So are they reading properly? Is it the normal way they read? Or is there any problem in reading? Sometimes the pronunciation is wrong. Sometimes their pauses are in the wrong places. And sometimes they don't take even pauses as well. Okay, so punctuation matters. That helps you to guide them a better way. And that will slow them down as well. Okay, so try this element that will encourage their understanding. Okay. The another element is some kids read very slow. They don't have time and they're slow. They are reading, trying to understand, but their more energy is going into the reading rather than understanding the text. Okay. So why they read slow? Let's understand the reason. So usually what I've seen, if your child have a problem in pronouncing the words, they take time on those words, focusing and wasting too much energy pronouncing it. When they can't pronounce, usually they don't understand the meaning of that. That means they are struggling to understand the context of those ones as well. Another element is if your child was outside the UK and they came recently and they have not reached to the stage where they are frequent English reader. So in those circumstances as well, the solution of this is practicing. So you have to keep practicing to get fluent in English and fluent pronouncing those words. So keep practicing louder initially. I would suggest in front of you, you will know how things work. And the same thing applies, which I said earlier on, that will help you. The third point is about poor concentration. See, if they are rushing something, if they want to go somewhere and you are asking them to complete this, so there is no concentration. So at some instances, you will see their marks are going here and there. And then you will be concerned, sending us email, saying, oh, what's happened? But don't be alarmed. Just always understand the reason why. Okay, if your child is performing normal way and then coming down, suddenly what happens? Because that will be my question to you as well, is what happened out of blue, right? So just try to discuss with your child. And so solution is very simple to this one. When you ask them to do something, give them time. Just make sure you set the context that they need to complete properly. Give them a time limit. They need to complete in sufficient time limit. They need to focus, and then there is no disturbance around, because sometimes I've seen even in the sessions, their sibling comes around and then try to play with them. So please refrain from this, because that will distract them. And if they are distracted, it won't work that much, okay, in their favor. Okay, the fourth element we're talking about is, sorry. Okay, the fourth element is their limited vocabulary. So if they have a limited vocabulary, that means they will not understand the context. If they don't understand the context, even though they are reading, the reading speed is everything's fine, they're not comprehending it. That's the whole point of the comprehension, isn't it? To comprehend, retain the information, and answer that. If they don't understand it all, they can't. So improve the vocab. Again, there is no quick solution to the vocabulary. Okay, it's a whole world dictionary. You can't just feed to your child in a single go or overnight. It's a gradual process. The best way to improve the vocabulary is read a variety of books, so they are familiar with the words and the context of it. So just help them that if they even don't know the word, ask them to just guess the context based on the sentence. Yeah, the meaning of that based on the sentence. And then help them, because that habit is very crucial, very important. If they don't know, they have to improvise. And by reading the context, they certainly can. Now, sometimes they say, what should we do to improve the vocab? Can we buy flashcards? You certainly can. Can we buy a dictionary? Don't do that. It's a waste of time. You just, in a digital world, you don't need to flip pages. If you have Google, Alexa, Siri, something, just when they're reading, put them aside. They can instantly ask the meaning of a certain word from Google, and anything. They can ask more details about this word. They can ask some examples, a lot of stuff instantly. So they are using that as an assistant in learning. So please help them set it up that way. Okay. Another very, very important aspect is their weak inferential skills. And what this means is their understanding in between the lines, what is happening, right? The things that is beyond the text, but like emotions, like setting, the point of view, what author thinks, what that going on. So those kind of stuff. So there are a lot of stuff there that kids don't understand. Let me give you an example. So let's say in comprehension, it says my birthday is close to Christmas. And the question is, in which month the birthday of this guy comes, right? Sort of like question. And they have to inference. So it's a Christmas, close to Christmas. It's a winter season. They can ask for season. They can ask for duration time, which is a December month. So you have to inference. It's a very, very simple example of inference. So they need to understand. So while they read, we did this exercise just last week. When they read, they need to understand not only just what they're reading, but the context around it as well. So that helps. Okay, how to do that? Now, use questioning technique. Encourage them to read and ask question themselves. So what's happening? Why this is like? So I'll give you some examples of the questions. I would suggest you, as examples for next couple of weeks, if they have this issue, read a passage together and then ask a question. Right? You ask and ask your child to ask you as well. So it's a twin throw of some questions. And the questions are like, okay, what emotion do you think the character is feeling? Why do you think so? So what, why, who, how, those kind of questions, please throw to each other. Why do you think will happen next? So don't restrict yourself to the questions which is already there in that one. Go beyond it, please. And then think this way. So you think about the emotions and feeling. And then you think about the relationship as well. And then you think about setting. So what clue or what kind of things you think is happening around this character? Okay. If there's a village, do you think there are a lot of big buildings? Do you think there will be small huts? Do you think there will be all muddy grounds? Do you think there will be cows? That will help them imagine broadly. That is what we need for the inferential skills. Okay. You can also discuss about if there are metaphors, idioms. So what's the meaning of that? That will help them improve the meaning of or understanding of those elements as well. And the last element, which is the strategy. Lack of strategy. If they don't know, they are jumping into it. That won't give us the 100% all the time. So what does this mean, the strategy? The strategy is to understand the context without even reading the context. Yeah, so there are some elements that we can do. So how do we do that? One is the predicting. So they ask them to predict what's going on based on the title, based on what is written, based on a little bit, let's say, first few lines of it. Ask them to predict it, because if they predict, they will have a little bit idea of what they are about to go, what about to read. If they have read some book, they already have idea already in there. So that will help. So ask them to predict before they read the whole text what they think is going to happen in this text. Questioning that we discussed is ask them to question themselves why this guy is doing this, what this guy is feeling or this girl is feeling, and why he's doing or she's doing this particular activity. Right? What is the purpose? Questioning. That is very, very important to improve the element and understanding. And also the word, if they don't know any specific words or phrases, just understand them and clarify them, those kind of. And sometimes I suggest you ask your child to summarize what they have read by the end of a comprehension text. And that will give you a very good understanding of what they understood. Because eventually they should understood and retain all of it. Okay. To get 100% from the comprehension, I suggest kids to retain text as much as possible. And they can only retain when they are reading properly. When I say properly, means they're reading slowly, not too slow, but not too fast, in a pace that is required. Also, I ask them to be in the story if it's a fiction. If it's a non-fiction, I ask them to be an author. So in a fiction, if they are in the story, they can imagine better. So if it's a Harry Potter, I ask them to be a Harry Potter in there. And they can see things, they can visualize things. Everything is happening to them, not to the third person. And that helps them relate. If they are author writing a non-fiction element, then they are writing, so they can relate themselves. The whole point of retaining is to relate. If they relate themselves into it, they can retain more. If they retain more, they can answer it better, and then they will be answering quicker as well. So I hope these few elements, if you can try to implement at home, help your child, it will improve their overall comprehension skills. I'll see you on the next video.